You have been curious as to what the secret special recording show surprises. Well, you're in luck because this is the episode where I spill all the beans. But before we get into all that, Kia what's up, sickos? It's me, Bix Bested, and this is Don't Call Me Diva, where we only talk women's wrestling. Yes, I run down all the women's action in the weekly AEW and ROH shows, plus whatever else takes my fancy. Wrestle Dream is coming up very soon. Let it be known before we enter here that we live in the world of kayfabe in Divaville. It is episode 30. Three of them. Three of the tens. Up the wazoo. Woo! Woo! Can you believe it? We are speeding towards the 100th episode and scrambling towards 500 subscribers. Well done. Well done, us. I appreciate you all for doing your part. High fives all around. If you need to know more info about moi and why we are here, go check out episode 1 in the playlist. Alrighty. Well, we all know it would happen. The fates were aligned. Mercedes Monet won her 10th bout at Body Slam Wrestling in Denmark. Monet is like the most respectful of the business, like any wrestlers, of any wrestlers of her caliber today. I am so happy to have her in AEW. Thank you. The weight and honor you see like filling her face as she looks upon her new world title, even though it is the 10th, makes you yourself at home care about what happens to it also. Mercedes held Ink's hand up high beside her in victory and thanked the ref very much. He shook his hand as he handed her the new world championship. Mercedes gives a lot more of a fuck about wrestling than those that she has been negatively compared to. I haven't had a chance to watch the full match yet because I literally just saw this, but the wonderful people at Body Slam have put the entire match between her and Alice Inc., who was the former champion, up onto the YouTube page. I almost got sucked into it when I saw it was there, but then I remembered I had a show to do and quickly got out of there. Who shall she be challenging next for the 11th? Surely that is coming up soon. Surely. She will be defending her title very soon too. Marina Shafir will be defending, speaking of defending world titles, her Defy Women's Championship. Remember she held that? Against one of Moi's favorite undead brides, who happened to also be very ass-kicking in wrestling, Sue Young. I squealed with joy when I saw this match being announced. It shall be in Portland at Wonder Ballroom on April 24th. Our VIP, the patron saint of Don't Call Me Diva herself, who makes us all go absolutely weak at the knees and fumble over ourselves with giddy joy. Layla Gray. Our VIP, goddess of Don't Call Me Diva, is gracing Texas with her presence for Texas Wrestling Cartel's Plateau au Plomo on the 18th, no, the 14th of November. It shall be in Austin. We do not know who the fabulously talented and dangerous Layla Gray will be fighting just yet, but I'm a need to check if we can watch it for, reviewing purposes. Until next time, Miss Gray, we say sayonara and good luck for your match. We will be unable to be there, but good luck. Layla Gray. And now, with that lovely boost of serotonin, it is time to get into the title Titty Tuesday here at Daly's Place, Jacksonville, the world of professional wrestling that is AEW. We shall find out who exactly is Mercedes 10 belts and all the boats Monet's Floridian opponent in this episode. We made a lot of speculations on who that would be, and without too many spoilers after the fact, we were all as wrong as anything. I love it. As is tradition, I was wrong. And as is tradition, we start off our show with the problem for everybody, not a Death Rider, Marina Shafir. Her muscles rippling, her face stern, as she administers Mox's required pre-match slaps to the face. During the match between Mox and Tomohiro Ishii, Marina interferes by the old classic grabbing the boot of Ishii. But Tomohiro just kicks her off and goes back about his business. Shafir steps it up, though, by getting up onto the apron and she digs her fingernail like right into Ishii's eye. And this is undoubtedly what gave Mox the advantage he needed to beat Tomohiro Ishii. From the House of the Death Riders to the House of the Remarkable Renee Paquette, as she grabs a word with the once again broke books. Our woman with all the scoops is tanned in a reddish brown waistcoat and some blue jeans. She inquires as to why they are more interested in pounding on TK's door instead of concerning themselves with all things scapegoat and dinosaur. And well, it's Nick mostly, they need more money and they demand a money match. Renee takes her leave of the situation, and we shall see if the Bucks got their money match. We get a very cool video package of timeless Tony Storm and the world champion Chris Statlander, which highlights how absolutely epic this battle between the two shall be at Wrestle Dream. But until then, it is CEO time, and our TBS champion walks out to Daly's place for the first time in her AEW career. I was surprised about this. I love Daly's place for all the reasons you can waffle off of and think of. It's the nostalgia, the stuff that did not work. Austin Gunn, doing his best to become an entire audience. They have started, they started having the roster like ringside. And I spied Jade Cargill for the first time before we even knew her name. DMD was born at Daly's Place with Rebel, Dr. Britt Baker's sassy talk show, Kip Sabian, Kip Sabian, Kip Sabian kissing the very large and loud-mouthed, bald, spectacled NXT fan in the mouth. The unsanctioned lights out match between Britt and Thunder Rosa, which was the awesome tag match of Diamante and Ivelisse. The tag team of Diamante and Ivelisse, excuse me. Big Swole, Hito, the Dark Order, the birth of tag team scissoring, Cash's horrendous forearm injury, and the multiple backstage bars. Ah, Daly's Place. It's good to see you again. Many, many memories are held here. Iconic moments in AEW. Mercedes Moné is battle dressed in a explosion of colors with straps everywhere. She is draped in gold by her jacket and her TBS championship being right around her waist. All of her other world title belts are already in the ring, and they are draped over the ropes, sparkling under the lights. One of these world championships, as I mentioned earlier, will be defended in its home country very, very soon. The Beauty in Black, the Bestia Women's World Championship, will be defended in Rome on November the 9th. As of this recording, we still do not know who shall be challenging Moné. And speaking of challenging Moné, her opponent is Lacey Lane, who finished her time in the Wubbly Wubbly Republic as Kaden Carter about 5-ish months ago, we saw Lacey Lane fight Mina Shirakawa for the ROH Interims Women's World Title. Title. Red Velvet did tell us that she was going social media silent while she recovers. There is still no update on her rehab, but we are wishing her all the best and cannot wait to see her come back and the inevitable fight between Mina Shirakawa and her. Lacey debuted in 2016 and faced a wrestler who I absolutely love, but is not in the women's division. So I feel a little cheeky mentioning him, but I just got to say very quickly, Lacey Lane had 2 matches against the amazing Sir John Cruz, close relation of Serpentico, if the rumors are to be believed, and that was amazing to me. Another queen of intergender wrestling coming through from the beginning. I love it. And in that same debut year, did you know she faced ROH and Don't Call Me Diva fave STP member Trisha Dora? 2 A-class future AEW opponents in battle right there. Lacey Lane has held the Crash Feminine Championship for the Crash, which is a wrestling company in Tijuana, Mexico. The Wobblies NXT Team Women's Tag Team Championship, and she's also held the Wobblies Women's Tag Team Championship without the NXT involved. More experience in tag team and intergender wrestling in the battle division is what we want. Thank you very much. In Lacey Lane lore, she is an impressive stat against 2 of the top women in wrestling who happen to also be in AEW. Back in the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic days, Lacey Lane as Caden Carter defeated Ultimo Bolt Monet and Timeless Tony Storm with her partner Casey Catazaro. I didn't realize I was going to say that up, but I missed it up. But you know who I'm talking about, right? She's beaten the TBS champion and the former world champion. Keep that in mind. Mercedes and us all get to find out who her challenger is via a video package. Lacey Lane has a look that I love. She is pierced with piercing eyes and tattoos. Her ring music is metal, and her long ass hair, which would be dangerous in a pit. And in the ring, we shall soon see. Lacey's battle two-piece is a shiny yet deep blue with gold. It's gorgeous. We switch to Monet, and she is giving the most awkward thumbs up gesture I've ever seen. I've never seen her give a thumbs up gesture before. Where did that come from, Miss Monet? Lacey completes a new, very favorite battle entrance of mine as her banger of a tune continues to play. Ref Aubrey is here to oversee this match, and she holds the TBS Championship high. Check her pockets for bills, people. I'm not making up rumors here. I'm just, the 2 wrestlers lock up and Lacey Lane shows off her strength, but the TBS champion shows off hers. And with a twist, Monet ends up behind Lane and she gives her a forceful but playful shove. They look up again, and this time it is Lacey Lane doing the twisting of the CEO's arm. Mercedes gets brought down to a knee, and the pissed off Monet grabs a handful of Lane's hair and just slams the back of her head into the mat. To lighten the mood, Mercedes indulges in a little CEO dance. Lacey gets to her feet and Monet shoves her hand into her face. Lane replies with a fuck you hair whip that gets Monet perfectly in the face. Now, might I inform you that Lacey Lane's hair is not only long, but it is in dreads. She should, hardcore marginal, like attach little knives onto the end of each one of her dreads, like the yokai Harionago. But I digress. This exchange has up these 2 wrestlers, and they go into battle with a glorious dance of violence, both getting quick 1-count pins on each other, both taking the battle all over the ring, never truly breaking connection until a strong kick out at 2 from Monet pulse Lane into the ropes, and Lacey comes back at her with a strong missile drop kick that just flattens the TBS Plus champion. Lacey Lane scrambles to the champion and pins her, but Mercedes can still kick out at one, and she keeps rolling her ass out of the ring down to Nope Town. Lacey is not going to give her any time to recover and lines her up for a tope. The quick Mercedes runs out of harm's reach, I'm sorry. But the equally quick Lane adjusts and drop kicks Monet with a swing through the ropes. Lane celebrates with her own rendition of the CEO power-up dance. I wonder if it works the same for other people. Or if it does. Do you have to be facing Monet for you to get any power CEO dance rub off? Ponder on that. Holy flying fraggles, sickos! This only fuels Mercedes, who comes in hot, but Lane is on. These two run off the ropes, countering each other with gorgeous agility. When they burst into this fury of battle, I could feel the adrenaline just start racing inside of me as I was watching this. And when Lane ends the moment with a stiff kick to Mercedes' face, the pop was explosive. I was hips deep invested as to where this was going to go. Not just now, but also in the future. Thank you very much. I want to see these two wrestle again. Or acting. Ponder on that. Lacey Lane goes to retrieve the TBS champion from the apron, potentially going for the hanging neck breaker she likes to use. But Mercedes puts a rising knee strike into all of her plans. Mercedes is trying to utilize the bottom rope to suplex Lane over the top rope. To where, may I ask? That crash landing would be the end of both of you, my dear. Beautifully avoiding this catastrophe, Lacey Lane blocks the suplex and nails Monet with the hanging neckbreaker. Lacey uses the ropes again for a hanging tombstone facebuster type driver that drives Mercedes' face right into that mat. Lacey goes for the pin. She goes to hook one of Monet's legs, but that ends up helping Monet instead. And she drops her leg onto the bottom rope. Not kicking out, but breaking the pin just the same. Very smart. The TBS champion slowly rolls herself out of the ring and stumbles along the outside of that same ring, using it to keep herself up. Lacey follows and catches up to her very easily. She even has time to converse with a fan ringside. Lacey tries to throw Mercedes back into the ring, but that gets countered. Lacey avoids Mercedes by using her momentum to lift herself up onto the apron. Monet then tries to sweep her feet out from underneath her, but Lacey one-handed cartwheels her way out of that. But when Lane attempts to kick Mercedes in the face, she gets her leg swept out very successfully this time, and Lane slams down onto the apron. Monet jumps up and nails Lacey Lane in the face with her running meteora onto the hardest part of the ring, might I add. Ref Aubrey hollers at Mercedes to get her all back into the ring, but Mercedes is busy basking in her glory. Mercedes drags Lane by the arm into the corner of the ring and goes for the pin. It's not the strongest pin, and Lane manages to get her shoulders up between the ref's 2 and 3. Mercedes unleashes a battle cry of absolute frustration. Lane slides to the corner, and Monet stomps her further into it. She then drags Lane out of the corner by the hair and continues then to use Lacey's hair to snapmare her over for a few more times. Right in front of Ref Aubrey, by the way, told you. Monet utilizes a stunned Lane and plows through her with the Meteora into the pimp. The smug Monet doesn't allow her to hook. Well, the smugness, I should say, in Monet doesn't allow her to hook both legs, and Lacey manages to kick out of it in time. Lacey Lane gets some space and extra momentum when Monet throws her to the ropes, but the TBS champion still manages to stop her move from succeeding, unfortunately, and expels all of the air out of her with a blower. Mercedes did this perfectly. But the cocky cover ruined all of that work again, and Lane easily avoids the 3. Mercedes is frustrated again, but this was clearly her own fault. Lacey Lane pays for it, though. Mercedes takes her by the hair again and rams her face into the top turnbuckle. Mercedes then shoves her boot into the throat of Lane with a nasty lit choke. We are reminded that Mercedes is 499 days into her TBS championship run. Jade Cargill held the title for 508 days until Chris Statlander defeated her. As of recording this, Mercedes is at 506. When it hits to Friday, wherever you are in the world, she would have surpassed Jade's surpassed? Would it be surpassed? Yes, she would have surpassed. Because, yeah, sorry, I'm doing like time zone math. Never mind. But yeah, when it gets to Friday, she shall have beaten that record. The ROH World Champion, the Forever Champ, the Fallen Goddess, the Minion Overlord, the American Joshi, Athena's All Elite Wrestling's Athena, is at 1,038 days. By the way, still bitter about that. She didn't get no hoopla, hooray, that I personally felt that she deserved. Miffed. You could say a black dot on what has been a banger of a year of women's wrestling. You could also. But before I get all bitter on that, let's move on. Mercedes continues to damage Lacey with stiff knees to the back. Monet grabs her hair and pulls on it back while she stabs a knee into Lacey's spine. Monet pulls at her mouth, locks her fingers around her jaw, and clenches in deeply, all while still keeping that knee snug into Lacey's spine. Lane manages to power herself up to her feet and elbows Mercedes in the stomach, but after another quick hair pull from the TBS champion, she slams Lacey back down to the mat. Now, Lacey, if you had the little knives that we were talking about, she wouldn't be able to get all grabby with the hair now, would she? Think about it. Mercedes tries for a suplex, but it's blocked. Lacey uses some quick-footed work to work her. Wait, she uses quick footwork, I should say, and cunning to misdirect the TBS champion. And Lane gets Mercedes off of her feet with a leg sweep, followed by a quick stiff knee to the chest. The crowd cheer, and Lacey pulls in that power. Lane gets Mercedes to her feet and locked in a side headlock, but the slightest pause for battle effect gave Mercedes the moment to whip into action. Monet twists her body around, and now it is Lacey Lane who is trapped. Trapped in the Three Amigos, the rolling suplexes of Tre. The crowd cheer again, but this time it is for Mercedes and Eddie, Mercedes rudely stomps on Lacey, who is on her way to the ropes. And it was this audacity that would turn this whole battle against her. Because instead of landing her frog splash and getting the potential win, Mercedes lands on Lacey's knees and almost gets a hernia. Monet stumbles into the opposite corner, doubled over in pain, gasping for air. Lacey has gotten to her feet and is taking a moment for herself. Mercedes runs at Lane. All of a sudden, and missiles her running meteor at Lane. But Lane quickly sidesteps the incoming doom, and Monet slides right through that ropes and just crashes into the ring post. Lacey takes off and runs a thrust kick right through the day's TBS champion. Lane makes the pin, but not all of Monet's limbs are contained, and she kicks out very strongly at 2. Both wrestlers get to their feet fighting. Lacey plows a thrust kick through Monet that gets her right in the throat. Lane goes for another, but Monet catches her foot and pulls Lane's face into her rising knee strike. Monet nails Lacey with another lung blower and then gives her no time to recover before she flies at Lane and catches her with a sunset flip that slams Lacey Lane into the corner turnbuckles with ferocity. Monet yells at the crowd to give her some power, and they respond appropriately. That CEO smile spreads across her face instantly. Monet runs full speed at Lacey with her running meteor, but again, she will instead crash into the corner instead of Lacey. Lacey Lane still has her wits about her, and her quickness is on full power. Lane takes a moment, then springboards her leg drop onto Mercedes Monet. She gets the wobbly Monet to her feet, locks her arms behind her, and then slams Monet face first into the mat with a hammerlock flatliner, which is, by the way, a cool as fuck move. Lacey goes for a pin, but it wasn't a good one, and Mercedes manages to get her shoulder up before the three. Lacey is stunned. Lane takes Mercedes and puts her in a hammerlock, again, a hammerlock, but bends her over for a different version this time. And before she knows what that is, Monet quickly counters Lane and she rolls Lane up for a little pin. Monet grabs at Lane's battle gear for illegal leverage, but it ends up working against her as Lacey gets pulled further onto her shoulders and she tips the pin over into her favor. Mercedes flips it again and yells at Ref Aubrey to count it. When Lane kicks out, the TBS champion just goes, fuck this noise, and hoists Lacey Lane up onto her back for the money maker. Lane crashes down to the mat. And our TBS champion, the CEO, 10 bouts Monet, Ultimo Monet, gets the one and the two, three. Mercedes is feeling that match, but as soon as Justin Roberts announces Monet as still the TBS champion, composure spreads across her face, and Ultimo Monet brushes her hair out of her eyes and stares deeply into the metaphoric eyes of the TBS championship. Ooh, I do hope that we see Lacey Lane again. I do hope that Lacey Lane challenges Mercedes Monet again. We shall see what happens, but that was a fucking good match. We have to talk about this FTR promo, okay? Because once again, their shenanigans are entwining with the women's division. Yes, I am absolutely over the moon about this, by the way. Seems that the top guys are, for now, the top gods, because two of my favorite wrestlers, Megan Bayne and Penelope have joined forces and are both doing me the very appreciated personal favor of dressing in all black, and they look killer. Why, may you ask? Have you not been paying attention? Bayne loves violence. So does Penelope. And there is a lot of juicy violence going on around FTR at the moment. Those two look stunning, and we are getting an intergender match on Collision. Fucking YOSH! Keep them coming. It fills our sicko stomachs, and we shall gorge until we are ill. The remarkable Renee Paquette and her now looking more brown than red waistcoat gets the scoops from the tag champions, who have yet to answer Harley Cameron's challenge. Rodito, rude to leave a woman hanging. Things are a bit painful for Bandito at the moment, but he has a really big Brody King beside him, so all shall be well. Hopefully, maybe. It's really hard to tell at the moment. We end this title Titty Tuesday with some absolute from Darby and the Death Riders, Marina appears out of nowhere to stop Mox, who is chasing after Darby and wants to murder him. She is yelling at him to stop repeatedly, but Mox is enraged and breaks free from the Death Rider's grasp and blocks Marina's voice out of his ear. Just as Darby is about to light a harmless, just little, tiny little Molotov cocktail, security spears Alan of where security swarmed and managed to do what the Death Riders could not stop John Moxley. Marina tries to guide Moxley away from the security guards, but it is no use, and she almost gets into a fight with one of them herself. Darby gets literally carried away, and we fade to black. That is not over. Oh, hell no. We continue our journey through this week at Daly's place, and it has claimed its next injury victim. Not a woman's wrestling related, but definitely worth acknowledging is the awful femur break of Kota Ibushi. Oh, when he slipped off Josh Alexander's shoulders and just crashed down to the floor. Josh was lucky that he like hooked his legs and he could have bit off now, so he kind of like, stopped his fall a bit, kind of stumbled onto his hip. They had to like end the match with like a count out. It was this whole thing. It's totally like legit. He got scratched it out. But he's in hospital. He's loved. He is looked after. He has all the best, healthcare around him. And hopefully he'll just come back stronger and with a bionic leg. But back to women's action. Collision opens with activating promos backstage with the Triangle of Madness. And Harley Cameron, Timeless Tony Storm, and the world champion Chris Statlander have once again facing them. Tekla is pacing, full of electric battle buzz as she delivers a warning to the trio of the Wrath of Time and Space. Wrath of Time and Space. Yeah. Julia Hart and Sky Blue have some threats of their own, and all of Triangle of Madness combine to form a very menacing team. Look to the sky! Not to be confused with Reach for the Sky. Harley Cameron exclaims as she hypes up her team of badass trio babes. They seem aligned, but I wonder how things will develop between Chris and Tony once the battle begins. The adrenaline starts flowing, Will they be able to put like things up between them for the battle that's going to be coming up between them for the world champion title and just focus on the Triangle of Madness? For the first time in her life, will Harley Cameron be the most focused one on her team? We shall see. We have a promo first from the Top Gods, and those outstanding battle outfits from Forbidden Door are back, baby! I am a happy sicko. Penelope and Bane have some of the best battle gear around at the moment, and yes, I may be extremely biased. Not ones to have men talk for them. Penelope steps in front of Stokely and Stokely? That's a different guy of Stokely. That's Stokely off work. Ah! Never mind. And Bane turns to address the camera, making sure everyone knows that these two bad bitches are going to make Willow and Jet Speed bow down. And speaking of jet speed babes, babes with a jet speed, as I like to call them, the hero of the locker room is looking adorable as Fook in the jaws of what I presume is a soccer-related jaguar. And all of them are hyped. They deliver their positive yet violent promises to the Top Gods, which means we are getting another intergender match. Yes! Yes! This is what we truly want, sickos. We are truly getting almost everything my little wrestling heart desires, and I could not be happier right now. I always enjoyed things coming to fruition at the most appropriate times. And it's really nice to have friends and wrestling right now. So nice. In tag team fun times, ttie is facing a team that is already in the ring, which is historically never a good sign. But we shall see. They are Dream Girl Ellie and Carolina Cruz. Dream Girl Ellie has deep purple hair with a strikingly gorgeous fuchsia streak at the front and wears pink and black battle gear. Carolina Cruz has long, dead straight hair and a very pleasing copper brown, and her battle gear is silver and black with red flames. They both have flames on their gear, so that's bound to give them some sort of power bonus, right? Surely. That's how these things work. Dream Girl Alley has been wrestling for 7 years and is from Florida and is the current RPW Women's Champion for Real Pro Wrestling. She has held 7 world championships during that time and is currently in her 805-day reign. Dream Girl Alley has been on AEW telly before. She had a singles match against Penelope Ford on Dark, and a tag match with Genocide versus Diamante and Evilise, also on Dark. Anna Jay and Dream Girl Alley had a one-on-one before, and she has also faced Thunder Rosa. She has also faced Marina Shafir, Sky Blue, and even has a trio match against Marina Shafir, Nyla Rose, and Tyler Valkyrie. A random but very powerful collection of wrestlers. I miss Nyla Rose a lot. I love seeing her wrestle, and her personality rules. And she's also really hot and really, really strong. And it's all very health at the moment. She still hasn't come to television, but we're not going to forget her. Dream Girl Alley has also made some appearances on the ROH Tally, having a proving ground match against the then ROH Women's World Tally Champion Billy Starks. And she faces Diamante again, this time in singles combat. Ellie has yet to be victorious in AEW. Carolina Cruz has only been in the biz for 1 year and hails from Miami, Florida. She plays rugby, and if women's rugby in Florida is anything like the women's rugby that is over here, she is one tough Wahine. Her debut match was in, get this, NXT's Halloween costume rumble match. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? A Halloween costume rumble match. Anyone know? If anyone knows what that was about, let me know. I kind of thought about checking it out, but I had other things to do. And she has fought 51 battles so far in her first year of wrestling. Oh, Carolina Cruz has even battled and won against one of my favorite undead wrestlers, who is facing Marina Shafir later on, Su Young. Wow. For this woman. We shall be seeing Carolina Cruz in action a little later as well. J complete their battle entrance and get into the ring. Anna is in her all black battle two-piece, and Jake is in her blue and tiger print battle gear from her battle with Timeless and Toni Storm. Jay and Cruz start the battle, and it doesn't take long for Anna to power Cruz into the corner, and Ty Mello tags in. Carolina isn't about to be manhandled and fights back with some forearms to Anna's jaw. But Anna Jay makes her pay for the audacity and beats her down with multiple forearms. When this team turns heel, I'm going to be there to welcome them into the banquet hall, because those forearms looked pretty spicy. They double team on Carolina Cruz with a double knee strike to the chest, followed by a head smush betwixt the booties that rocks Carolina. Dream Girl Alley is reaching out with all of her length to get that tag from Cruz. Cruz sees that she is ready for that tag and gets out of Ty Mello's grasp. Cruz clocks Mello in the back of her head and then goes to her corner and is able to tag in Dream Girl Alley. Ty and Jay exchange some words of encouragement, and as Dream Girl comes running into the ring, she runs literally headfirst into a stiff forearm from Miss Ty Mello. It's this side of her personality that makes me see the heel inside of her. Isn't that right, Julia? I understand that my interpretation of these things are purely my own, but do you all have any thoughts on this kind of ponder? Anna tags in and snapmares Dream Girl into the corner of the ring. J double team on Dream Girl Ellie. Ty smashes her in the face with her knee, and Jay gives her face some more damage with a flipping face buster. Bit on the apron. Whew, Carolina Cruz has been outraged by all of these shenanigans. And as Anna goes for the pin, Cruz gets into the ring and boots Jay into the side of the head. Ty is outraged by Cruz, and she gets into the ring and starts hammering forearms into Cruz, forcing her back into the corner. Jay is doing the exact same thing to Dream Girl Alley on the other side. J whips Cruz and Ellie into each other, but the slight hesitation gave them enough time to counter that whip, and they turn it on J. J, well rehearsed in dancing, link arms in both Ellie and Caroline to get a thrust kick to the face. Anna Jay pounces on Cruz and cracks her with the dangerous J kick. Mello runs in with the pump kick, and and then starts stomping Carolina mercilessly while screaming out her battle cry. Anna whips Ty into the Dream Girl, and she also gets a running pump kick to the face, followed by a dangerous J kick, and all of the life has been booted out of Allie. It's all downhill here for the Dream Girl Allie. She gets another dangerous J kick to the face, and then Anna J hoists her up onto her back for the glory bomb into Ty Mello's knee. Now, Ty can be a bit stiff with her knees, and the Dream Girl is out. Watch for that future move. Watch for that move, future opponents of the tag team tournament, because that's a game-changing move. J will fucking take you out right then if they hit that on you. It's Willow Nightingale and the rest of the conglomeration. We have Ishii, OC, Kyle O'Reilly, and his side piece, Strong Boy Rotto. Lexi in all of her glorious hair are looking very elegant this evening in a symmetrical black dress with two swans coming together at the front. 10 out of 10 in entertainment right here with this faction we have at the moment of this current conglomeration. It only has like half of the members of like the Don Callis family, but it's a start. He also doesn't have any women wrestlers or femme adjacent members right now in his faction, so that already demotes them to under the conglomeration. STP, top flight. Currently even the top gods and also the premier athletes. So, Don, you gonna get any women on that team? In the absence of Briscoe, Willow bots us out of the promo, and this whole ending is so freaking wholesome. Snapping us back into reality after a musical interlude, Marina Shafir gets right up in our face. But it is Darby Allin she is directing her words to. When she is satisfied that she has our full attention and steps back into perfect lighting that makes her rippling muscles pop perfectly, Shafir stares us down while the bastard, the young boy, deliver their battle warnings to their opponents. Mox appears out of nowhere, Jesus, with a jump scare from the left, and fucking Timeless is here, and the crowd erupts into cheers. As soon as her music hits, Toni Storm comes out in suspenders, a white shirt, black pants, long trench coat with matching hat, and she just explodes with sexual chemistry that could, turn at least a fifth of Florida gay. Toni looks much better within herself, and she will clearly be in top form for the upcoming battle against, the world champion Chris Statlander. Toni Storm battle poses in the ring, headbangs, takes her coat off, and slams it onto the ring like a rock star smashing their guitar. Composure quickly snaps back into the timeless one, and she basks in the glorious chants in her honor. Suddenly, the world is plunged into color as Feel the Ring! It's Harley, our women's wrestling treasure, and comes out in her pink heart jacket, battle poses, and then she flings it off and battle cries to the crowd. Harley Cameron is in a black, pink, white, blue battle two-piece with straps and chains all up the wazoo. Battle entrance complete, and it's time for our world champion, the multi-layered Chris Statlander. Stat comes out with confidence, the world champion, and gives us a champion's gun show. Stat has her gorgeous blue and silver battle gear on, and she confidently walks to the ring with her title held high. Toni Storm must see her former championship in the arms of another woman, and that must really sting. The former and current world champion shake hands, and it's good for the team that they are concentrating more on their opponents, it seems, so far. If you were paying attention at the beginning, you would already know that they will have to face the Triangle of Madness, who just get better and better with each fight, win or lose. Are we dreaming? The kick-ass trio's team of Triangle of Madness's music hits and the lights go up to reveal Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue standing in formation, ready to intimidate and cause some friendly violence, and perhaps a small curse, if there's time. Julia Hart is in her red and black battle gear, hat of curses, and battle jacket of awesome. Sky Blue is in her blue and black battle one piece that I think might be new. Her long, sheer black cape flows out from behind her, still with the very puffy, like twin tails. Loving it. Tekla is also in red, but brighter, and added fluffy gray into her battle jacket, and it is awesome. Tekla definitely has new gear on here, and I love it. It's the same brighter red as her jacket, and it's like a crisscross two-piece situation. They complete wrestling's finest battle entrance, and we are ready to go, people. It is time. There's Toni Storm, who wants to start off this battle, and she just runs right at Tekla with a battle cry, slamming her boot right through Tekla's face. Toni Storm has completely taken Tekla off guard and is kicking and throwing her around the ring. She stumps Tekla into the corner, all while unleashing a battle cry from the depths. Timeless continues her domination of Tekla by flinging her across the ring by her hair. She brings Tekla back into the middle of the ring for what looks like it was turning into a Storm Zero, but Tekla has been activated, and given a chance, she went straight for the eyes of Toni Storm, digging her nails into the sockets, making Timeless now cry out in pain. The ref demands an end to all of this illegal behavior, so Tekla goes for a roundhouse kick to Toni's face instead. Tekla did not expect Storm to duck that, though, and was taken by surprise for just a moment before cracking her in the jaw with a thrust kick. Tekla brings Toni Storm to her feet and kicks her in the womb. Tekla runs off the ropes for momentum, but ends up running face first into a third press from Storm, and she pins Tekla to the mat with a barrage of forearms. Toni Storm unleashes a battle cry and then rams her knee right through Tekla's spine with a backbreaker. Harley calls out for the tag, and the Timeless One obliges. Harley can't capitalize on Toni's backbreaker, though, and ends up being rocked off her own feet, stumbling backwards into the Triangle of Madness's corner. Tekla is done with all this shit for now and tags in Sky Blue. Sky hoists Harley onto his shoulders and just casually carries her around the ring for a bit, taunting her opponents, but Harley manages to wriggle out of Sky's grasp and toe trips her into the mat face first. Before Blue can even think, she gets a Harley Cameron missiling herself through her with a missile struck and drop kick. Harley goes for the pin on Blue, but Sky nopes the freak out of that at one. Sidebar. Anyone else get distracted by like those men in white hats who just, for like some reason, had to stand this like entire match. Anywho, Cameron whips Sky Blue into the corner and slams her with a little titty smash. Chris tags in, and Blue is about to get double teamed in the painful way. Harley hits Blue with a Russian leg sweep. Chris gets into the ring with a tope atomico onto Blue. Stat whips Harley into the ropes, which they repeat for extra oomph. And then they transition into the Delta World Splash. Whoo, that pancakes Sky Blue into the mat. Harley quickly rolls out of the way, and the world champion goes for the pin, but can only keep Blue down for two. Chris gets to her feet quickly and pulls Sky Blue up to her own feet. The world champion hoists Sky up into a delayed vertical suplex, holding her upside down for a long time, letting all of that blood rush to Sky Blue's head. Stat then slams Boo down. Boo, ah, Boo Blue. Slams Blue down onto the mat, and Blue grips in pain. The world champion chops Blue into the corner and then slams her back down to the mat for another pin. But Blue ain't gonna stay down. Blue gets some space between her and Stat and tries to ram her boot through the incoming Statlander, but Chris manages to block that and grabs her foot. Statlander plays around with Sky, who manages to twist herself around and ninja rolls forward, sending Chris catapulting into the corner turnbuckle. Sky Blue scrambles to her corner and she tags in Julia Hart. Julia comes in quick, but gets scoop slammed by the world champion and then dragged over to the opposition's corner. And Tony Storm gets tagged in. The Timeless One snaps Julia over with a snappy suplex and goes for a proud pin, but not a good pin. And Julia kicks out very easily. Tony's had enough of all this, and she tags in Harley. Handling and handing Julia's arm over to Harley, and she gets into the ring. Cameron sucks Julia in the head with a spicy kick and goes for the quick cover on Hart, but she ain't staying down neither. Harley rams her elbow down into the shoulder of Julia Hart and goes for a run off the ropes, but Trixie Blue grabs Harley's foot and gets the distraction bonus point. Harley is enraged but gets lured into the trap, and Tickler kicks her into the side of her head. Yeah, that's what I said. Stack Daddy in the hall we all adore complain at the ref as Julia drives Cameron's head into the mat with a DDT, and then she just goes for the pin. Harley kicks out with all of her body before the ref can get to three. That really pisses off Hart, and she pounds down on Harley with furious forearms. Julia puts Harley into a tight headlock and ragdolls her around. The crowd are trying to give Harley the power-up she needs, but she just gets clobbered on the back by Hart. And Cameron crumbles down to her knees and crawls to the corner of the ring. Julia chops the life out of Harley and then gives her a friendly little choking until the ref informs her that he is close to fight. And Julia really has to stop all of this. Hart takes Harley's arm and walks the top rope. She hammers down onto Cameron's shoulders and then sprints into action like a whippet. As Julia bounces off the ropes, Blue tags in. Julia plows through Harley with a sliding lariat, quickly followed by Sky Blue's kick to the face. Blue goes for the cover on Harley, but it was a bit too smug, and Cameron powers out before three. Blue delivers Harley's face into the top turnbuckle and tags in Tickler. Another kick comes Harley's way, and she finds herself in the pin by Tickler this time. Cameron strongly kicks out again, but she is reaching for the tag from her corner with every inch that she has. Tickler sees this and tortures Harley some more by taking Storm and Stat out right in front of her. This instantly enrages them both, of course, and they try to come into the ring, but the ref sends them straight out from whence they came. Harley once again gets thrown into the Triangle of Madness's corner, and Blue tags in. Triangle of Madness are tagging out quickly between themselves, constantly keeping the pressure on Harley. As Blue shoves her boot deep into Harley's throat, Julia scampers over to the other side of the ring and yoinks the world champion off the apron. In the ring, Sky Blue is mocking the ref. Harley tries to fight, but Sky Blue absorbs all of her forearms and kicks Harley in the face again. They really want to try and break Harley Cameron's nose again, huh? Blue mocks the fans now, who are desperately trying to power up Cameron while she's choking her out on the ropes. Harley is desperate, trying to get her to the corner, but get to her corner. But all the damage dealt to her is really taking its toll on her body, and she collapses before she can even get close. Sky takes things slow, savoring every moment of pain she causes Harley Cameron. Cameron starts feeling the wrath, and she fights back. But Sky grabs a handful of her hair and slams the back of Harley's head into the mat. Blue stirs up the shit by quickly turning her attentions onto Timeless and clubbers her with a forearm. Once again, Toni Storm enraged, and she gives Blue a vicious tongue lashing because that's all she can really do. Because if she gets into the ring, the rest going to be like, it's going to. Those two guys, by the way, are still standing. The people behind them must be pissed. Sky Blue hoists Harley Cameron onto her shoulders, but Harley finally manages to connect with some stiff elbows to the side of Blue's head, and she manages to get out of the hold. Harley quickly gives Sky Blue soul food. Cameron stretches out to her full length and dives into her corner to tag in the awaiting and furious Timeless Toni Storm. Storm missiles herself through Blue with a drop kick. Not once, not twice, but thrice. Despite Blue's quick attempts to counter them, Storm absorbs the cheers from the crowd and spies Julia out of the corner of her eye. That must be taken care of. Toni turns back to Blue and choke bombs her through the mat. It was a decent cover, but Blue is still strong enough to kick out. Storm goes for Storm Zero, but Blue shimmies out of it and clocks Timeless in defense with a super kick. Blue tags in Julia Hart and they double team up on the former world champion. The Sisters of Sin go for the double suplex on Timeless, but the strength of Toni Storm blocks that from happening, and she ends up suplexing both of them instead. Timeless Toni Storm makes the tag out to the world champion, and Chris Statlander explodes into violence again. She takes out each member of the Triangle of Madness and uses Blue as a weapon against her own teammate, slamming her down onto Hart and going for the pin. Julia Hart is still able to kick out though, and the battle rages on. Statlander tags in Harley, and it's now their turn to get in some double team destruction. The two wrestlers pull off the assisted crash thunderbuster, and Harley goes for the tag, but Tekla is on it, and she bursts into the ring to break up the pin. Tekla clocks Stat in the jaw for good measure, and then drags Julia Hart over to their corner so they can tag in. Tekla tags in, and everyone gets their second win, and it's probably like their sixth win by now. Harley explodes and cracks Tekla's back with a backstabber. Sky clocks Harley in the face with a super kick. Timeless snaps Blue over onto the mat with a German suplex, and before Julia can capitalize on Toni's back being turned, Stat grabs her by the shoulder, and Julia just ducks the boot from Stat. It almost takes out Toni Storm though, but she grabs the foot in time. Chris reasons with Toni Storm that she was not intending on kicking her out, and slowly Storm puts her foot down. Now, I understand the tempers of battle, but really, Storm was there. She saw Julia was there. Then all of a sudden, Julia wasn't there, and her foot's coming towards her. If she thought about it logically afterwards, she would know that Stat wasn't coming for her. Sky breaks the tension by attempting to take them both out with a double clothesline, but they both avoid Blue and take her out instead. Then going right back into the tense conversation. It was a good try, Sky. Maybe next time it would work. It was an unwise battle decision, as a distraction meant they were very vulnerable to the attack, and Sisters of Sin push them into each other and they collide. Blue shoves Timeless out of the ring, and Julia gets Stat out of the ring with her boot. It is now Tekla and Harley in the ring alone, two legal members of their team. Harley gets Tekla down for the pin, but she cannot keep her down. Tekla makes Harley pay for the audacity, and Spider transitions into the spear, and Harley is out. Tekla pins Harley Cameron, and the Triangle of Madness wins this battle. The Triangle of Madness's music hits, and the three of them celebrate in the middle of the ring. Timeless is furious. They get out of the ring as the three faces gather inside. Tony sees her former world title in the ref's hands and just takes it from him. Tony stalks slowly up to Chris Statlander, holding Stat Daddy's world championship in front of her for JJ. Right in the face of the world champion. Chris looks up at Timeless as she flirts with the title, and then after juicing it up a bit, Storm hands it to the rightful owner, Tony. After the match, we get a backstage interview with Harley and the world champion Chris Statlander. Statlander dismisses Lexi's wording of heated and says what we just saw was women supporting women and passion for battle and passion for the belts that they battle for. Harley cannot contain it any longer, though, and she bursts out her confessions. Jesus Christ, this must have been like almost tormenting her. Apparently, she is not really a cat. Disappointing, but we'll move on. She then comes clean about asking Mercedes Moné to be her tag partner. Statlander is a caring world champion, and she lets Harley down easily. Rightly so. Stat Daddy has a world championship to concentrate on, and going for the tag titles right now would not be good for her gold beauty and justice. It's got to remember justice. Harley, as we discussed last week, is in tag team purgatory. Perhaps Chris has a potential partner in mind for Cameron. She did kind of hint, maybe, to that. But before we can even explore that bit of news, fucking Yuta stinks up the place by barging in. Don't we have security for him? Perhaps we could put a bell, perhaps, around his neck so we know when he's coming and get the water spray out. Well, he's wet enough, it'll probably just absorb. Harley is instantly enraged at the audacity of the wet fringe, and as Chris tries to contain the wrath, Timeless barges in, tits first, and challenges Stat like she's a 1930s dock worker after a few many. Fucking Yuta makes his smug exit. Harley tries to defuse the situation, and as Lexi tries to regain control, Timeless rips open her shirt because she is that mad, and we fade away with the red teddy living rent-free in our heads for eternity. The fabulous MXM TV come out to the ring for their open challenge. Is it going to go better than last time? Fuck knows. Taya is looking stunning as usual. They complete their stupendous battle entrance, and then Mansoor puts out the casting call for the open challenge. And guess who it is? Well, you have to wait. Mansoor insults the fabulous Arkady Aura, thank you, who is looking stunning in black as a personal favorite of me. And now I hope he gets his butt sufficiently kicked for what he said about her. It is announced by the wonderful Arkady Aura that their opponents are La Faction Ingobernables. They don't currently have any women wrestlers as members, so we don't need to stick around for here. Good luck, MXM TV. Taya, please slap Sammy Guevara in the face for me, please. If not now, then the next time you see him. Thank you very much. It is our Collision main event time, which means It is time for the trios and the gender goodness. Hey, Mega Bad comes out. Bane is the one in battle. Ford is also dressed in her battle gear of stunning Forbidden Door. Phase one of the best entrance in the world is completed, and they make their way into the ring for phase two. These two are impressive. I love this tag team so much. Have I mentioned that before? They join FTR, and then Jet Speed's music hits. They are smart. They do not get into the ring, and they stay on the entrance stage to wait for the hero of the locker room, Willow Nightingale. And right on cue, the infectious music of Willow Nightingale hits. Willow bursts out to the entrance stage with all the power and positivity. Bane is unimpressed, it is tradition, but Willow doesn't care, and they complete their battle entrance together in that ring. Bane, are you surprised? Puts herself in first for her team and steps up to Willow, statuesquely intimidating as she stares down at Willow. The crowd start to chant vehemently for Willow, and that pisses Bane off. Willow and Bane lock up, and the battle for dominance against one another is intense. When this is clearly not going to go in either one of theirs' favor, they break apart in frustration. The battle continues as to who is going to be able to get the upper hand, and Willow gets challenged by Bane to shoulder tackle her again. Willow takes the challenge, but it was a ruse, and Bane springs into action as soon as Willow hits the ropes. Bane plows through Willow with a shoulder barge, and Willow goes down. Willow, not to be one to be taken out easily, makes Bane feel the depth of her power, and she body slams Megan to the mat, taunting FTR afterwards and giving us all a gun show in celebration. Willow forces Bane into the corner and rams multiple forearms into Bane. Willow drags Bane out of the corner and takes her down to the mat again with a lariat. Willow goes for the cutesy pin. Not now, Willow. That's never going to work. And Bane, she powers out of the cover. Bane goes to her corner and Dax tags in. He steps right up to Willow. Fortunately, it is not a tornado match, so Willow and Dax can't face off. Kevin Knight gets on a roll, taking out FTR with his impressive standing dropkick. But once Bane gets in the ring to take him on, he puts on the brakes because Knight is a gentleman. To his own fault, because Bane instantly tries to push him into a fight. The babes with the jet ski run. Jet ski? She's got jet skis on the brain. Hey, is there. Oh, Willow is a former Owen Hart tag team. No, Owen Hart Tournament Cup winner. So she technically is a previous owner of jet ski, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about jet speed. Okay. What are they doing? What are they doing? I don't know. I know what they're doing. They run a train of pain through Tex, and Willow finally gets to take some frustrations out on Dex. Bane gets to join in the fun violence and gets super kicked in the jaw by Willow. Willow cannonballs into Dex, and Penelope and Stokely are going nuts at the ref. When the pin doesn't get the win, Willow climbs the ropes to missile drop kick Dax, but at the last moment, Bane pushes Dax out of the way and Willow crash lands onto the mat. Bane stomps and kicks Willow until she rolls out of the ring in front of Ford and Stokely, far away from her corner as possible. Bane missiles Willow head first into the guardrail, and Willow connects with the steel hard. Bane addresses the camera, yeah, and then continues the beatdown on Willow. Bane throws Willow back into the ring, and Dex goes for the pin, but Willow kicks out at I Loving the freedom that has just begun to develop in this match. Dax pulls Willow to her feet by the hair and he tags in Bane, who kicks Willow right in the ribs as Dax holds her in place. Bane takes Willow to the corner and shoulder tackles her in the gut. Willow gets thrown into the opposite corner and Bane flies at her with a big booty splash. A butterfly suplex sends Willow crashing into the mat, but it's not enough to keep Willow down for that pin. Bane takes a page out of the Superbad Girls playbook and chokes out Willow on the ropes as she taunts the rest of the crowd. Bane gets told off by the ref and Megan staunches him out for a bit. Out of pride, but also part of the plan, as Ford takes her moment to choke Willow out more herself. Cash finds this delightful. Penelope walks away after spitting. And well, is that what I just saw you do? Pen. No. And things get worse for Willow. When she is hit by the short, stiff lariat from Bane and she goes for the pin. Willow nopes the fuck out of that, though, before three. Bane keeps Willow close by grabbing her hair and pulling her in for a tight chokehold. The strength and violence of Bane cannot keep the strength and heart of Willow from getting up to her feet. Willow gives the Megasis some heavy blows to the gut that breaks her hold on Willow, but unfortunately for the hero of the locker room, Bane comes back with a stiff lariat that knocks Willow back down. Bane sets Willow up for her Liger bomb, but Willow gathers all of her strength and flings the Megasis flying over her head, and FTR start instantly reaching out to Bane for the tag. Bane goes to tag in Dax, but him and Cash have a plan. So she then tags in Cash, and he instantly takes out Jet Speed. Willow was reaching out for the tag, but she just wasn't able to get there in time. Willow stumbles to the corner while Cash mocks Willow's entrance kick of power, and it does him no good. Cash lines up Willow and runs at her for the Bronco Buster of all things, but Willow shoots out of the way like lightning and Cash's balls smash into the ring post. Mwahaha! That's terrible injury number two for our dear Cash, but this one is hilarious. This time, Willow makes it to her corner and tags in Speedball, who is fired up and throwing. Jet Speed makes Dax pay. Cash gets back to his feet eventually and stops Kevin Knight from taking flight. Bane gets into the ring and yoinks Mike Bailey out of the air, releases a battle cry from the depths, and flings Speedball over her head in a fall-away slam. Megan Bane and Speedball are near strangers to each other in the ring. They have faced each other in battle before in GCW, and Bane was victorious. Bane runs off the ropes and missiles her body of muscle, flying through the ropes, and she takes out Kevin Knight, who is being held in place by Cash. I fucking love Megan Bane! Really, really do. Oh, I do. Oh, Cash and Speed fight it out for a bit, but eventually Cash backs into his corner and Megan Bane tags in again. She don't want Willow though. She wants to destroy her friend Speedball right in front of her. Bane gets Mike Bailey up into a delayed vertical suplex and holds him there for a while, but Bailey starts kicking and wriggling his way out of the suplex. But when he goes to take Megan off her feet with a front kick, Bane grabs that foot and flips Bailey over back into a backflip. The talented Speedball lands on his feet, but Megan is right there to plow a stiff elbow right through Mike Bailey. Bane keeps it up with a German suplex with a little release on the end to make it sting that little bit more, and Speedball is hurting. Mike takes refuge in the corner, but he knows Bane. He knows she won't be able to refuse the tempting body splash. Body slash? That's different. And sure enough, Megan lines him up and runs at Speedball 4, said body splash. Bailey uses his quickness to avoid the incoming death and makes his way to Willow for the tag. Real motherfucking equality! Right here! We've been able to goddamn document it. From the statements of wanting it, just fucking talking about it right there. Speedball makes the hottest of hot tags to Willow, and she gets into the ring to face Bane. But who she actually gets is Dax. The crowd are going nuts as these two face off. You know me. I legit got tears in my eyes from all this beautiful motherfucking equality. Willow Knight starts hammering chops and forearms into Dax's chest, sending him back into the corner, which is a bit dangerous, not gonna lie. Cash Wheeler gets into the ring, no relation, and grabs Willow by the hair, but he is not prepared for the woman who turns to face him. Willow plows through Cash with forearms and elbows, and the whole of Daly's place is losing their shit. I'm losing my shit. Willow dominate. FTR. No bullshit. I'm sorry, Harley. I am taking another tag team partner away from you, but fucking give me Willow Nightingale and goddamn Beth versus FTR now. Okay, maybe not like right now because we're doing this, but come on. Ah! Where did I go? Oh, wow, just flew off then, didn't I? She slams, she being Willow, Dax deeper into the corner with a splash and then a very stiff lariat. Dax tries to counter her with an Irish whip, but Willow cartwheels out of it and nails Dax in the head with a step up into Gary. Knight nails Dax with a standing drop kick, and Willow follows up with a spectacular babe with the power bomb that even Dax has to be impressed by. The whole of Daly's place is. Willow goes for the pin and almost gets the 3, but Dax powers out of it by 2. Willow and Dax have a battle of power after they very quickly get back to their feet. Everyone is on point in this match. You cannot wait and or dilly-dally. Willow gets clocked in the face by Bane after Dax sends her to the ropes, and he takes advantage with a suplex into a little roll-up, and that fucker even grabs a handful of Willow's tights. But Dax still can't get the pin on Willow. I love how this match went just tornado, and the ref just kept it going. He was like, I'm not getting involved. Fuck this shit. Best way ever to integrate intergender wrestling into your weekly shows, naturally. Bane tags in and Dax rolls out of the ring. Bane goes straight up to Willow, but Bane gets yoinked quickly. Willow is still very fired up. Penelope sees this though and scampers up onto the ropes for the distraction, giving Bane time to counter or at least get out. Things don't go quite so well for Ford, though, and Willow is full on sick of her shit and pulls Penelope over the top rope, sends her into the ropes, and then demolishes her with the pounce. Penelope screams as she's sent flying out of the ring onto the floor. You kind of deserve that, though. I'm not going to lie. Bane goes to boot Willow in the midsection, but her foot gets caught by Willow and she dragon screws she dragon screws Bane's brain, my brain, down into the mat and into a hard Boston crab, wrenching back on Bane's knee. Everyone gets into the ring now, and it is a submission party until Stokely helps FTR and pulls them out of the ring. In the chaos, Penelope Ford gets involved behind the rest back. Ford and Bane then hit Willow with a doomsday device. And Bane gets the pin on Willow for top gods. Booze erupt. Daly's place are not happy about this at all. As Ford, Stokely, and Bane, because FTR still pose in victory. A hurting Willow is still in the ring. Bane grabs Willow for a Liger bomb, and the boos rain down even harder. Harley Cameron suddenly appears, and she has a weapon. Has the bridge and headstock of a guitar, and as someone who has accidentally bonked her head in the face with one of these, they have the right idea in letting Willow go and getting the fook out of the ring. Harley is, I mean, she's a fabulous friend. She's always going to have you back. I love that. They she puts her arm around Willow at the end, and they're maybe tag. No, I don't think Willow's going to be the tag team partner for Harley Cameron. That is still open for discussion, and we'll keep an eye on that. Now over on ROH, we have two women's matches. No promos, unfortunately, but two wonderful shows. Do you remember Sari? Hmm? Well, we get a Sari versus Alex Windsor hype package match. Hype package match? Hype package promo. I don't even want to know what a hype package match is. It's got to involve like Bully Ray and Val Venus or something. Anyway, they will be facing each other in the main event of this episode. I am very excited to see the IWGP champion and Windsor go head to head on ROH. Pump it up. Sari, though, is no longer the IWGP champion. She very, very recently, I think it was like yesterday, lost it to Syuri, who said that she would be returning to AEW when she healed. Syuri and Alex Windsor have history. And I wonder if the new IWGP champion will be bringing her title over to AEW soon. I am assuming that if she can win the IWGP championship, she is healed. Keep your eyes peeled for a Syuri, people. The women's Pure Rules match is between the very dangerous Billy Starks and the equally dangerous Aviva Van, who we have spoken about many a times here on Don't Call Me Diva, and she is a fave. She really throws her body into everything, really stiff and powerful. It was a great release of violence for a one Billy Starks, though. Viva is a tough competitor. She's been a multiple champion in many, many wrestling promotions. Whew. But Billy Starks had the brutal fire in her throughout this entire match. I don't know if like Viva was just caught off guard, but Starks never gave her a chance to recover either. Billy was like laser focused. And she got the win over Viva Van. Viva Van is tough, and she was really getting overpowered. After we saw Starks in the match against Diamante, Athena better watch out for that title. She really better watch out for that title. Oh dear, speaking of which, where the hell is Athena? I'm gonna get all like bitter about this whole like non-celebration thing, but come on! There wasn't anything for that. I'm really miffed, can you tell? The main event, as I said, is the IWGP Women's World title. Sari versus Alex Windsor. And I am pumped for this match. Now, in all openness, I have not seen many of Sari's matches, but her and Alex Windsor have some instant chemistry during that tag match against the aforementioned Billy Starks and Diamante. She says, clearing her throat and needing to take a moment for sustenance. Excuse me. The excitement of getting close to the big announcement is making me parched. During this match, Windsor tries to use her power advantage very, very early, attempting to bully Sari, but Sari counters fluidly, totally used to the stiffer, sometimes bully-like tactics of some Joshi. And the two start trading off wristlocks, headlocks, and counters. Beautiful mat wrestling from the two. It's one thing I really love about seeing Windsor against the Joshi. They really bring out the mat wrestling in her. Same thing with people who have been over there before. So like her and Tony, beautiful for that. Her and Mercedes, great for that. They just counter off each other. Athena, I reckon it would be the exact same thing. These kind of opponents that really bring out the mat wrestling in you. A glorious dance of violence does ensue between the two. Windsor slams Sari into the mat, tries to apply the sharpshooter, but Sari manages to wiggle out and she crawls for the ropes. This is not a pure rules match, so no rope breaks. I'm fucking rope bait. No rope break counts in this one. Later on in the match, Sari shifts the momentum, headbutts the headbutter herself, Windsor, counterattacks the double stomp from the corner, and then shoulder slams her into the mat. You wouldn't expect such power from Sari, but whoo, Windsor got the fucking life slammed out of her. After a very, very, very tough battle, Sari gets the 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. And I hope we get to see you in AEW soon. Also, condolences on your recent losing of the IWGP Championship. See you soon, Queen. So, what are your thoughts on this week's discussion, huh? If you so wish, you can leave your. Hey, I got ya. I got you there, didn't I? You thought I had forgotten, but it was a cunning ruse. We have been ching to tell you about the super secret, super side project. Yes, that we have been involved with for about a month now. And we shall tell you all what it is right now. So excited. A new wrestling show has been birthed from our loins with the fabulous Books from Books and Body Slams fame. You can find her at that name, all one word, on absolutely everything. In the Books and Beck show, we talk all wrestling. Everything with a big, 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 big dollop of madness. All the thoughts that pop into our head about wrestling. We have also been running down the history of every single one of Moné's championships and the importance of what she has been doing for all of these companies all over the world. And we are so excited to actually finally share everything we've learned and everything we have to say about it, of course, to you all. She is introducing us to wrestlers we've never known about before, companies we've never known about before, and it's just the best thing ever for women's wrestling right now, or wrestling, actually. We also talk our gripes. We unintentionally slide down the river of thirst in one episode. I don't know how that happened. You will never know what we will have to say, and I really hope you enjoy it. Okay. It shall be hosted here on Don't Call Me Diva, so you don't have to go anywhere else. And we shall be sharing on TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, and Insta. Our debut episode is going to be out just in time for Halloween. And let us know what you think. Share it if you love it. And I will see you all when I get back from my humble little trip to motherfucking Japan. Oh, holy shit. I'm actually going to Japan, people. I never thought this could be a real thing. I've always been waiting for something to happen. And like, I don't know. I'm going. I'm going to have so much to share with everyone. Our first Don't Call Me Diva episode when I get back is going to be a gorgeous episode of chaos. I hope you're ready. Please go follow Books at Books and Body Slams and give her some love. Tell her I say hi. And please engage with her with everything involving this show. And also the dear producer of that show as well, the wonderful Shane. Let them know what you think. I will be humbly oblivious until I get back. Lies. I will be stalking all of you. You better be nice. And with that, if you so wish, you can leave all of your lovely little thoughts in the appropriate comment sections, wherever you so happen to be. And if you'd be so kind as to like and subscribe while you're there, I'd be very grateful. And the Books and Body show. I am the body. Ah, Jesus Christ. The Books and Beck show would also very much appreciate it. You can find me lurking threads at Bex_Bastet and under a tree at Blue Sky Bex-Bastet. You can follow us on TikTok. It's Don't Call Me Diva Show. Thank you, as always, to my double excellent producer and editor and promoter extraordinaire. Go check out Shane's wonderful Ethos Media Network if you would like to check out more diverse content. Join us at sickosclub.com and Sickos Club on Threads. Everyone together now. You have never met a more inclusive, smart, kind, and talented bunch of silly sausages who also happen to really enjoy wrestling. This was Don't Call Me Diva. Oh my God. Where are wrestling rules? Let me a dick.